So now we're gonna talk about chapter 4 here. It's about taxes, retirement, and other concept. This is pretty much gonna tell you, okay, when do you pay taxes, what a retirement is, what are the insurance concept. So now first concept we're gonna talk about is third-party ownership. When the insurance policy is owned by someone other than the insured, is like usually a minors or business insurance. This is called third party. I did explain that in chapter 1 as well. Third party means the policy owner and the insured is not the same person. Because I remember when I went to the exam, they asked me that question, if I'm not mistaken, a while back. But that was a long time. So those questions may not even be in there, but who knows? Okay. So the first thing we're going to talk about again after this third party, now you got that group insurance. Now, group insurance for Florida, in order for it to consider a group, it must be at least one person. I'm not sure for Connecticut, we got to check that. One person consider a group. Okay.
They say 1,000, I believe.
Really? So
Yeah.
tomorrow I gotta just go on those and check. And what I want you to do is, if you have the I'll text you after. If you have that information, you can send it to me. I can take a look at it. All right. So group insurance. Group insurance is written for a group. That's when you have a group of people, usually the employee and employer, but other group may also eligible. So it's a group of people that come in into one policy. Now that one policy, they call it a master policy, master contract, everybody in that group. So now the people in the group, they do that receive a policy. They receive what we call a certificate of insurance. You become a certificate holder instead of a policy owner. You're not a policy owner, you become a certificate holder. Usually in a form of an annual renewable term. So they use an annually renewable term insurance, ART. That's what they use. So now if they ask you which type of policy use ART, just so you know, it's either is a group or it can also be a universal life insurance, by the way. All right. So if you go in the test, you don't see group, you see universal, you might as well pick that one. It might help you out. Okay. All right. Evidence of insurability is not required. Of course not. It's a group of insurance. So they don't have to prove that they're in good health. Even if the people in that group that have HIV, it doesn't matter. Cancer, it doesn't matter. They still can be in the group. Okay. Participant receive a certificate of insurance. I explained that. But the plan sponsor, that's when the insurer, whoever sponsored the plan, they receive the master contract, which is the master policy. Okay. The cost of coverage is based on what? Age group. And the ratio of men to women. So they do a ratio, depending how many women, depending how many men. Because they have a tendency, they might say men die before women, who knows? But when there is money, the women die first. Just a joke, because the women become too jealous because we look sexy and handsome. I'm sorry, Meijin. I'm sorry. If there is no money, the guy gonna die first because they're stressed. They have to find a way how to make it happen. All right, but when there is money, the ladies become jealous. Okay, because we dress too sexy. But anyway, conversion privilege. Okay, when you have a whole life, when you have a good policy, sorry, you have 31 days on a group. You can convert to an individual, from a group to an individual policy without evidence of insurability. Okay, so now when you talk to people out there and they have a good policy and you tell them, hey, do you know you have a policy at your job? It's a good policy. You know you cannot take it, right? They say, no, I can, man. I can. They told me I can. But yes, they do. But did you know that you only have 31 days to convert it? That's how you're going to be able to take it. And they're going to charge you based on your age at that time. Oh, I didn't know that. Of course. Okay. So 31 days to convert. What happens if you die during the conversion? Because they give you 31 days, which is the same 31 days, is also the 31 days grace period. If you die, how much are they going to pay? Is it reduce their benefits or full their benefits?
Full death.
Good. I'm glad you say that. So if you say that, you might be able to take that right. Don't be relaxing tomorrow, try to be sleeping and then not to take that one.
It is.
Okay. So 31 days. If you die, because you did not pay the policy, you don't have to do policy. So what they do, they take it, the whole group, you still cover, they pay you the full death benefits to your beneficiary. During the 31 days, individuals still cover under the group plan. So the new individual policy of the first amount equal to the amount of the group, but they pay higher premium because if you convert it, so they're gonna charge you more money. They can also convert to any other form, whatever the insurance, they can do that, whatever form they have, except term.
Except
So when you have a policy at your job, so you know, you can, even if you say you don't like whole life, that's the only way you can convert it to a whole life, baby. A group can only convert to a whole life. Test question right there. Learn that. You can convert if you can do the conversion in 31 days without proof of insurability. You see, the person qui de moun pala qui tape Greek. Ouais, tape route aller avant faut c'est plutôt me konya legal dem. You'll be kidding me, man. Wow.
ele é a job.
Ça fait dire on coupe pour chasser, on coupe pour gibier. On dit avec gibier. Ils avaient dit ça. C'est petit monde c'est maté la ville. Et si casse de ça, mais ça les pas de vidéo ça la jeune. Oh yeah, la jeune.
No.
She woke up.
Ata dormi même. Si film non fait dormir.
Oh man. Oh Lord have mercy. Okay. All right. Here. So you can convert, okay, to an individual policy, but it can only be a whole life. It cannot convert to a term policy. No way. No way. If the death, okay, occurs during the 31 days period, group insurance will pay death benefits, pretty much the full death benefits. Okay. Now there's two ways you have this plan: contributory, non-contributory. If you see those two words, think about it. Contributory, you're contributing money. Okay. None mean you're not contributing money. But what you need to know, if it is non-contributory, the employer pay all the premium. 100% eligible must participate. So that's mean if that company have 1,000 employees, and if there is 75% of those employees eligible, that's mean 75 employee eligible. All of them have to be on there. That's 100%. All of them, whoever eligible for the plan must be on it. They cannot discriminate. Oh no, I don't like you. No, you're African American. I'm not gonna take you. You Caucasian. No, you're not in that plan. No, you're white. I'm not gonna take you. They can't do that. So, contributory, on the other hand, 75% whoever eligible have to be on it. So if the plan was a non-contributory, remember 75 employee eligible. So even all of them don't apply, that's okay, as long as 75% of the 75 employee. If they do that, then we're good. So that's called, they have to, both of them pay. Employer pay an amount, the employee pay an amount. That's why they call it contributory plan. So know that what's the difference between those two. Okay? Know what's the difference. That's it for this part. Retirement plan. There is different retirement plan. In order for a plan for when we're talking about the retirement account, you're gonna find there is qualified plan. In order for the retirement plan to be qualified, this qualified means it have to meet, okay, the IRS approval. So the IRS have to say, yes, I agree with that. It must meet the IRS approval. Okay. The taxes also, they're giving better tax treatment. So that's when they don't have to pay taxes. You go tax deferred. So they don't have to pay taxes now. But once they are gonna take money, they have to pay taxes at that time. Okay. For example, for exclusive benefit of the employee, in order for the plan to be good, it have to be for the benefit of the employee. It have to be written, communicate to everybody. It cannot be like, oh yeah, hey, listen, we're gonna have it like they're just telling you. No, they have to give you a plan, the package. If you guys really watch what's going on when you work to a job, if they do have a retirement plan, you're gonna see like what they do to you. They're gonna also give you the booklet that tell you exactly how it works. Does not discriminate in favor of highly paid employee. So they cannot pick and choose. If you make more money, we're gonna give it to you. Okay? They not geared exclusively toward prohibited group. They cannot again, they cannot say, oh, if you're this type, we're gonna give it to you. If you're this type, we're not gonna give it to you. Nope. You have to be permanent. It cannot be a plan that's there temporarily. You have to be permanent. The plan must be approved by the IRS. That's when the Internal Revenue Service have to approve the plan. And then they also have to have a vesting requirement. Vesting means if your company put money for you in that retirement plan, so when can you take the money from you, from that retirement, from the employer? Because if they don't have any vesting requirement, that's an issue. So they must have vesting requirement. Okay, so that's what you need to know. What about withdrawals? If you have a retirement plan and you go to it, 10% penalty if you go 15 and a half. If you go to that retirement, like if, let's say for example, you have a 401k at your job. If you go to it before you're 59 and a half, they're gonna charge you 10% penalty because you go to the money too early. All right. So now let's talk about individual retirement plan. The first one we're talking about here is an IRA, what we call individual retirement account. That's what we call the traditional IRA. So now this one, contribution must be in earned income up to the IRS, maximum amount. For example, if they say they're not gonna test you on the maximum for the 2020, in order for you to put money in that, you have to be at least $6,000 per year. Okay, if you want to put more than 6,000, you can't, unless if you're 50 or older, they give you a catch-up contribution, which is what we call $1,000 catch-up. Now on the exam, they're not gonna test you on the amount, but now what they're gonna do, they're gonna make sure you understand how that works. So you can, there's a certain amount you can put based on your earned income. So if you only earn $5,000, you cannot put 6,000. So you can only put 5,000. If you only earn 1,000, you can only put 1,000. So it's based on earned income. You got to have earned income to put money into an individual retirement account. Whatever money you put is tax deductible. If you put 6,000, you can take it as a tax write-off. You don't have to pay taxes on it right now. Okay. Pre-tax, that's been before tax. Okay.
70.
70. But honestly, they changed the 70. It's 72 right now. To be honest with you guys, they don't test the number. So I don't think they do. If they do test the number, it will be 72. If you go in the exam, you don't see 7 and a half, you see 72, that will be the right answer. Because they just changed the rule 2020, they changed the rule. All right. Now, a married couple can contribute, okay, double the individual amount. So that's mean if you have a husband and then the wife working and your husband not working, that's when you can put 6,000 if you're under the age of 50, and you can also put 6,000 for your husband. Double the, that's what that means. So you can put this amount for you and your husband, but they have to be two separate accounts. There is a 6% penalty for excess contribution. So if they actually put 6,000 and you put 10,000, the excess, which is 4,000, you got to pay 6% extra until you withdraw the money, because you should not put more than you're supposed to. Participant age 50 or older make a catch-up contribution. Just know that if somebody is 50, they're gonna make a catch-up. They may not ask you how much the catch-up is, but if they ever do ask you, it's $1,000. Distribution must begin 72, not 70 and a half, because this is an old thing. So it's 72. So you have to wait until you're 72 years old before you got to take money out. If you're 72, you don't take money out, they're gonna tax you 50%. Actually, not just tax, penalize you 50%. For example, if you have this type of account and you're 72 years old and you're supposed to take $1,000 out as a distribution means taking money out. If you don't take that money out at 72 years old, they're gonna penalize you $500 because they asked you to take 1,000, you did not take it, so they're gonna charge you 50% fee for not taking that money out. I know nobody like that, but if you don't like it, take the money out, because they give you until 72 years old. They know you're gonna die, so the IRS want their money. So they say start taking distribution so you can pay me my taxes. Now it's due. Okay, Contribution. Contribution and earnings go tax deferred until withdraw. So when you put money into that type of account like this, let's say if you put $6,000 every year, and then for the next 20, 30 years, you never have to pay the taxes right now. That money gonna grow. When you start taking money out, that's when you pay the taxes. Now, also, we talk about the 10% penalty. All qualified plan, this will apply. Once it's qualified, 10% penalty if you go to the money 15 and a half early. So if somebody 55 years old and you go to your retirement account, you got to pay 10% penalty. Unless if you become disabled or if you die or if you're going to purchase a house for $10,000 or less. Or maybe if you're paying higher education or medical expenses, maybe that could be an option. Who knows? All right. Roth IRA. That's another account, is an individual retirement account. This is one of the great accounts that somebody can have. Now, contribution made after tax dollar. That's mean after tax. That's when you already pay tax in that amount. Okay? Contribution must be made up to 100% of earned income. In order for you to have this account, guys, you got to have earned income. Okay? Contribution can be up to 72. They changed the date again. 72, that's what it is. Distribution must be begin, or no, do not have to begin 72 years old. So that's when somebody have a Roth IRA, you never have to take the money out. You can let that money there. You're going to continue to grow as long as you keep it there. And then once you start taking money out, guess the beauty thing is you don't have to pay no taxes at all. At all. So there is also excess contribution. If you put more than you're supposed to, 6,000. I mean 6%. Like you see the 6,000 I was explaining earlier, it's also applied here. Tax-free distribution if you wait 15 and a half and the account open for at least 5 years. But if you go to it before that, they're gonna charge you 10% penalty. Any question? My first question.
Ivan sleepy.
I'm here.
Okay, good. Rollovers. What does rollover mean in transfer? Rollover, I have a lot of clients that come to me, they say, listen, I have this account. I have a 401k at my job, but I'm no longer working there. But I don't want to take a distribution. I don't want to pay the taxes right now. What can I do? I said, well, you can roll over the money. Okay, roll over the money. Depending how you do it. If you just ask them for the money from the company, they're going to take 20% withholding. So if they ever ask you, somebody, what is the percentage? If somebody take the money out, 20% they're going to take. They're going to hold. The employer going to hold that. It must be reinvested at least 60 days to avoid the taxes. So if you take that money, you have to take at least, okay? But what happens if you transfer the money? That's when you transfer the money, that's when trustee to trustee. No tax withheld. That's when they're not gonna take the 20%. You're gonna straight. That's the best option. You talk to a financial advisor, and then they transfer the money for you automatically. You have nothing to do with it, so they don't take the 20%. You pay the taxes later on, because if you just give them the 20%, you could have used that money to make some free money. Okay, when you give the IRS that money early, you give them a free loan. While now, when they let you use the money like that, they give you a free loan as well. Okay. So that's rollovers and transfers. Now, what about people who are self-employed? What kind of plan they should have? Know that KEO plan, HR 10 plan is for self-employed individual. So the 10 represent 10% of ownership. You got to own 10% of the business. This is for self-employed individual or partners. Okay, must work full-time or part-time, but at least they have to have 10% ownership. If you don't own the business 10%, you cannot have this retirement plan. Contribution limit to 100% of earned income. So whatever is your earned income is that day, how much you can put in that plan. Withdrawal must begin no later than 72, because remember I told you they change them. Every time you see 70 and a half, just change it to 72 years old. Because if you come to that money early as well, they're gonna charge you 10% penalty, and also they're gonna charge you the taxes. Okay. Self-employed, just remember that plan, KEO plan. HR 10. If you're going to tell them put HR 10, that's it. Oh, well, I ever see HR 10. What is that? It's called a KEO plan. That's the self-employed. Small employee. What about company that's not self-employed, but they're small, they're not big? Okay, they got what we call a simplified employee pension plan. Okay, this is for employee establishes and maintain an IRA, individual retirement account, to which the employer contribute as well. Okay, the employer put money. The employer contribute, and that including the employer gross income. So that's when they don't count it as gross income, because that's when it's tax deductible. SEP contribution can be much larger than an IRA, because the IRA is less, because it's like only $6,000 contribution. Okay. It's also established a dollar limit, or 25% of the employee compensation, whichever is less. So there's an amount you can put, but or less, whatever the 25% is. Okay. Then what about the simple plan? That's even for a company that's really small, 100 employees or less, not that much, 100 or less. You cannot exceed more 100. If somebody have 101, they might as well get the simplified, the SEP. Okay, they have to get this first plan. If they got 100 or less, this plan will be best for them. Okay, know those bullets. The plan for smaller businesses with no more than 100 employees. Participant must have receive at least $5,000 compensation for the year, and the employer must have at least the employer must not have a qualified plan currently in place. They should not have one in place at the time, and the employee cannot differ specific amount each year. Okay, and the employer also match it. So the dollar for dollar, for example, up to 3%. So they cannot put no more than 2% of the compensation of the person. If that person at least earning $10,000, 2% of 10,000, you only see how much is that? Probably like what, $3,000. Okay. All right. What about employer plan? You find big company like a Walmart, Walgreens. Those companies, they have what we call a profit sharing plan or a 401k plan. Those are plans that we use for big corporation, big organization. Okay, they use a profit sharing. Whenever there is profit, they share it with the people that works there. And 401k, that's where they use it for, also for big corporation. Okay, the company also match you for a percentage. Okay, participant age 50 or older, they can also make a catch-up contribution. And then also employee can take a loan against the 401k or hardship. So if you have a 401k, you can take a loan, or you can take for hardship as well. That's the feature of a 401k. That's corporation, okay? What about people who's working for the school system, teachers, or non-profit organization? That's what they have, folks. Tax sheltered annuity, TSA. So if you go on that exam, they say another name for TSA is tax sheltered annuity. Or if they say what another name for 403B plan, tax sheltered annuity or TSA. Those mean the same thing, okay? This is qualified for non-profit organization. If the company have a 501c3, so they can apply for that. If they got a 501c3, they can apply for this type of plan. Contribution made by the employer or the employee to salary reduction. Okay, they also have a catch-up contribution, just like the 401k. Catch-up contribution, just like the 401k. Marie first, do you have any question? Carson, do you have any question? Or Majin, if you're still here, do you have any question?
I'm still here.
Okay, so those are what we call retirement. What about non-qualified plan? If it's either the plan is qualified or not qualified. So if it's not qualified, this is what you need to know. They do not have tax advantages. Okay, no limit of the or requirement for contribution. That's when those folks that is non-qualified, they can put as much money as they want. For example, a regular mutual fund account is a non-qualified plan. Okay, but they can discriminate in favor of, they can pick whoever they want. They can discriminate. This plan, they can discriminate. Contributions are taken from after tax money. So they pay the taxes, they pay after tax money. This is some example of non-qualified plan, teammates. You need to know those four. Everything else is qualified. It's either is an individual annuity, that's a non-qualified plan. Deferred compensation plan is a non-qualified plan. Split dollar plan is a non-qualified plan. Executive bonus plan is a non-qualified plan. This is a default plan that is non-qualified. Everything else is qualified. So if you know what's not qualified, then you should know what's qualified. Okay, that's pretty much that. I think this is the only part of the section after this one. Now we're gonna talk about life insurance need and compensation. Okay, I mean, an analysis. Okay, why do somebody use life insurance? Well, the way people, why people buy life insurance, number one reason is personal use. Okay, for personal needs, they use it. That's what they buy it. So that the personal need for insurance is survival protection, cash accumulation, liquidity, and state creation and state conservation. So if you go on the test question, they say all of the following, okay, they say all of the following are personal use of life insurance. You better take one of these. If they say which of the following is, you pick one of this. If they say all of the following are, they're gonna give you three of those, one is not. This is our personal, because you can use insurance for personal or business use. Now, personal use, that's the personal use. Survival protection, cash accumulation, liquidity, state creation, state conservation. Let's talk about survival protection for a minute. What does that mean? If you die and you are the breadwinner, the survivors gonna make sure they get money, they're protected. Cash accumulation. Well, when you have that, you accumulate cash. You can accumulate cash to the cash value. You can accumulate cash to the dividend money. You can also accumulate cash when the person died. Cash accumulation. Liquidity. Liquidity means how quickly can you turn something into cash. So when they're talking about life insurance, liquidity refers to the cash value that can borrow at any time by the policy holder. So the cash value means liquidity. They can use it for expenses. Okay. All right. Let's talk about business use of insurance. Why would they use that? Business use that as well. Key person. So if I have a business and I have somebody who's the key person in my job, okay, in my company, for example. So let's say that if I have a policy, for example, and I have Kassan, she's the cook. She's gonna cook the food for us. So now she becomes the key person. Because if she's not showing up today, I'm not gonna be able to find no food to sell. Even though I'm the owner, I'm not the key person. So if I hire a cashier, the cashier is not the key person, but the person who actually making the food is the key person. So I tell Kassan, in order for her to come work for my company, I got to put the insurance on you, and she have to agree for me to put the insurance on her. Now, when she passes away, guess what? I get the money. The business get the money. The business is the beneficiary. The business is the owner. So they pay the premium. That money they pay for that insurance is not tax deductible, even though it's a business transaction, is not tax deductible. Because of that, when they pay the death claim to the employer or to my business, I do not have to pay taxes because I didn't have to deduct it in my taxes. There is only one way, teammates, insurance become deductible. It's only on a group insurance. Only on a group insurance. If it is a group insurance and the employer pays the premium, that is deductible. That's why, again, I forgot to mention that. While it comes to my mind, I will tell you. You might save yourself tomorrow, Marie-France. Okay. A group should not be no more than 50,000 group policy. If you get anything more than 50,000, it's taxable to the beneficiary. So don't get any more than 50,000. Anything above 50,000 in a group is taxable. Because remember, insurance was never designed to be taxable. But that's why we say, hey, listen, whatever you get at your job for free up to 50,000, you get it. But anything else, you should get it outside of work. General use. Okay. Life insurance taxes treatment. Premium is not tax deductible. Death benefit is tax free if paid in a lump sum to the beneficiary. If death benefits paid in installment, the interest earned is taxable. We covered that already. That's review to you guys. What about individual policy? Cash value go tax deferred. If they ever ask you how the cash value go on individual policy, the tax value go tax deferred. That's made out to pay taxes until they withdraw the money. Okay, not subject to income tax even if the exceed premium is paid. Only interest earned is taxable on individual policy. Business owned policy, tax deductible as business expense. First 50,000 are not taxable, is not taxable to the employee. I just explained that already. So if somebody get the policy in a group, it's 50,000, the first 50 is not taxable. But if they get it for 100,000 and it's a group plan, the first 50 is not taxable, but the other 50 will be taxable to the beneficiary. Let's see, cash value on a business owned policy or employer policy go tax deferred as well. Interest will be taxable when they withdraw them. Death benefits is tax-free if paid in a lump sum as well. Group insurance, tax deductible as a business expense. Premium paid on the $50,000 is tax deductible. But death benefits is tax-free if paid in a lump sum. So even though it's tax deductible, but the death benefit is tax-free. Surrenders. If the policy is surrender, the cash value received is more than the amount of the premium, the gain is taxed as ordinary income. I already explained that to you guys already. The difference between the cash value and what you receive is the difference is taxable as ordinary income. Policy loans, never taxed. They're never taxable. Accidental death benefits is not taxable. That's why you see when you have a credit card, guys, they don't pay you taxes on the interest you owe the whoever you borrow the money from, because it's a loan. You don't pay taxes on loan. Okay, you don't pay taxes on loan. State taxation may be included in the insured state, subject to federal income taxation. Policy dividend, not taxable. Dividend on the participating policy, what we call mutual company, the return of unused premium, they are not taxable. All right, so any question on that so far? Because I'm almost done with that. I have one more concept to explain. After that, we'll be done with this. Okay, Marufas, you still here? Because that's it, you see? After that, we're done. We have only this little thing here. Question for you, Marufas, Cassand, if you're still here, Majin, question?
Okay.
Okay. All right, this is the last concept we're gonna cover. Modify endowment contract. I remember somebody was taking an exam. We find that concept maybe was different the first time. MEC. When the policy become a MEC, it's gonna remain a MEC. This is what happened. Any life insurance policy failing the 7-pay test, that's when it developed more cash value faster than the 7-pay whole life policy, it's gonna become a MEC. So you're gonna become a retirement account. Once it become a MEC, it loses tax advantages. So now it's no longer treated as a life insurance policy. They're gonna treat that as a as a retirement account. So if you take money, you're gonna see they're gonna charge you 10% penalty if you take that money out. Okay, once the policy become a MEC, it will always be a MEC. It can never go back to a life insurance because what happened, those people was cheating. Let me explain what happened to you guys, Willie. Back in the year, maybe probably 1980 something, or probably 1980 something. Some people didn't want to pay taxes. Because insurance, you don't pay taxes, some folks was trying to hide money onto insurance policies. And the government caught them doing it. When the IRS find out that's what they're doing, so they try to avoid paying taxes, and they say, oh, that's what you guys doing? So you don't want to pay taxes. So you hide your money in life insurance. So if we find that policy failed the 7-pay test, that's when you put more money, is build more cash value than it's supposed to. In the next 7 years, we're going to classify this life insurance as a modified endowment contract. It's no longer called a life insurance. It becomes a retirement account. If you take money out, it's going to be taxable. And if you take the money out before 15 and a half, it will be taxable. And plus you got to pay 10% penalty on top of it. So don't do it. That's what they say. Don't do it. Social Security and taxes. They might say that's his benefit of provision. What is another name for Social Security, guys? It's old age, survivor, disability, insurance, or retirement. That's what Social Security stands for. It's there to protect people against disability. is there to protect people in case they, you have ever seen some people, they have small kids and the parents die, and they're gonna give that child a check, usually until the age of 16. They're gonna give them that check. Okay, that's called survivor. And also retirement. Once you retire, they give you a check. There is something you need to know about Social Security is insured status. Fully insured means you got 40 quarters. That's mean it's like 10 years of work. Because every quarter, okay, so that's mean like every year, for example, you got 4 quarters. Okay, so every year, that's why it's 40 quarters you need. That's mean you have to work for 10 years to entitle to receive full Social Security or Medicaid or survivor benefits. Because if you don't work for 10 years, you ain't gonna get that. You're lost. Current insured or partial insured, that's 6 quarters of coverage during the 13 quarters period. Only entitled to some benefits. So you're not gonna get all benefits. In order to get all benefits, you have to be fully insured. Blackout period. This is the period of time between the time the youngest child turns 16. So if you have kids and the parents die before, at least before they become 16 years old, because of this blackout period, the parents can also receive a paycheck to help the child until they reach, a little bit older. And that's why is that there. And also he reached retirement age or turn 60 when there is no benefits payment. So there's a blackout period, 16 and also 60. And that's it. Question? Let's see, if you do have a question, you gotta let me know.